Mom walked in and caught me sucking my own penis as a teenager. I realized in my curious early teen years that I could reach my own penis with my mouth by at least 2 inches inside my mouth, and one time when I was leaned over myself in my bedroom pulling my head into my lap with a mouthful of my penis, my mom entered my room. She closed the door, I went down for dinner, and we have never spoken about it in 26 years. I accidentally went to a brothel and got hustled. I stopped at a strip club off the highway that I'd known had been there forever. I don't go to clubs really, but had been a couple times in my life for short visits, have a drink at the stage, tip a bit and leave. This time, I decided to take a dancer up on her offer for a lap dance. It wasn't something I'd done before, figured it would be like a bucket list item to check off. Turns out the club I was in had a reputation I wasn't aware of as basically little more than a brothel, with dancers providing services even in the lap dance area. The dancer I was with did this to me, not full sex but a sexual act, and in a state of shock and confusion I ended up kind of going along with it. Though it was something I tried to say I didn't want. I think that since the place basically operated as a brothel, it was I assumed just by being there that I did want it though. Edit, after I was told to pay a much larger amount than I had initially discussed for a dance. In any case, I basically felt like I got hustled and felt pretty gross after. It's had me really feeling stupid and bad for putting myself in that situation at all. But I also had no idea, and I guess was just naive as to where I had found myself. I wish I had done more at the time to try to stop everything, but I honestly was just pretty shocked. Needless to say, I don't think I'll go to a club again in the future since that was not how I thought it was. I, F17, told my dad about being sexually abused by my uncle, and it went horribly. Generally, my dad is a good person, he raised me well and was an amazing father to me. Unfortunately, his brother, my uncle, is the opposite. Since I was 12 he's been sexually abusing me, and even now he tries to. I'm just never alone with him, so he doesn't get chances like before. Doesn't stop him from grabbing me though. I hadn't worked up the courage to tell anyone, and I was afraid of what would happen, but I finally worked up the courage to tell my dad. I told him everything, and I thought he was going to be insane amounts of angry because he was murder-level mad when he found out my ex-boyfriend existed, and this was way bigger than that. But, he just sat there and sighed. He said many things but mostly made excuses for my uncle, and he also told me if it was so horrible, and you hated it, then why didn't you say anything before? So, now I'm in my room. I know he's on the phone with my uncle right now. He's clearly not mad, and I bet he's inviting him over for the holidays. I feel like never talking about it again, ever. I was forced into child prostitution by my stepdad. I was forced into selling my body by my stepdad. This was done to make ends meet for the family after my stepdad got made redundant. He has anyway been abusing me and my sister since I was 5, but the penetration didn't start till I was about 9. My mother was a druggie, she used to live off it and sell at the same time, doing odd jobs in between. My sister was 2 years younger. Our father left us when we were very young, lived in a rough neighborhood in the outskirts from the city. So the deed was pretty much normal for me growing up. It was initially my dad who used to bring whoever home and sent me to my room. Initially I didn't get anything for a long time but kept food on the table, I guess. During my HS years also I was always poor and I sold myself so that I could buy stuff like that, and this is for like very little money, strip dance and sell drugs as well. I also got expelled from school once someone snitched on me. I've had super weird clients with odd requests. By the time I was legal, 16, I've had probably slept with over 100 men. My sister ended herself, stepdad in an accident, and my mother had a cardiac arrest. I lived through it, got myself a job and enough money to fend for myself and restart a new life, now happily, overjoyed with my marriage with a baby to come. I had sex with a girl that laughed at me in high school. When I was a freshman, maybe sophomore, I wrestled. There was a senior wrestler that was a jacked fella and kind of a dick to all the lower classes, age, weight, etc. He would fuck with me sometimes, and this one time he showed up at a lunch table with some girls around and pulled my arms behind my back and said something about getting stronger or whatever. Anyway, I noticed one girl laughing a little and she was hot, so naturally took it to heart and thought I was a dork forever. Anyway, I did get stronger, bitch, and 6 years later, guess what fellas? I fucked her. And reminded her of it while I was at my peak RPMs, really giving it to her. She actually seemed really turned on by it and didn't remember that it was me.